In the early 40s, the best middle distance runner in the world was a man named Gunder Haug. Now, Haug had a father growing up who was a lumberjack in an isolated part of northern Sweden. Now, as a teenager, Haug loved running, and so eventually he and his father became curious about how fast he could run, so they mapped out a course that was about 1,000 meters long. And so Gunder ran that circuit. Gunder is now one of the most successful distance runners in the world, breaking a total of 15 world records during his career. Now, like many athletes and many people who became top performers in their fields, Haug and his father, who was a lumberjack, recognized that he had the ability to become very good at a particular skill. Gunder Haug had a natural affinity and a natural talent to run. But talent alone is not the only predominant factor into his success. It was the support that he received from his father that embraced the idea that his affinity could grow into something more. Talents don't come out fully formed. They require investments and work to grow that talent into something that would have the biggest impact on said person's life. Now, the importance of a family to address and to allocate most of their income, even as a middle-class income family to support, which by arbitrary redundancy would mean that that child would have the opportunity and the recognition to evolve and to further elaborate on his or her natural skill sets. The relevancy towards the middle-class family that would be supporting a child can be directly correlated towards the emotional and also the financial support that they are able to represent to their child. Coming back to the story of Gunder Haug, he took his family out of a middle-class hierarchical status due to the opportunities that his father had supported and had opened him up into. Now, proposition stands with the topic that this house, as parents of working-class families, would allocate most of their money to support the most talented child of their family, in agreement that a parent must indulge into their child's talents as a means to develop the family's chances of a better upbringing and the chance to develop the child's own character and identity, but also as the sole obligation of the parents of said child to support their child's aspirations and dreams to grow into a better person. First, we must identify the actors that proposition will be representing towards the arguments at hand. First of all, are the obvious children with natural talents at hand. With that, said children are the most vulnerable and at stake when discussing their natural skill sets and what they're innately good at. Secondly, are the family members that may be affected directly or indirectly towards said issue. Now, my argument consists of three main pillars that would support the reallocation of monetary funds of a middle-income family towards a certain talented child. The first referring towards the possibility of an investment towards that family's future, highlighting the fact that this family has a status as a middle-class income family with just barely a means to survive and to feed their bellies. With an investment towards that child's natural affinity, that family is able to flourish and embrace their specialties. The usual ways that a family may momentarily invest onto a child's talent is to find out mentors and teachers that are able to provide the child the necessary development and stimulation that is required in order to hone their talents at hand. Now, providing the proper tools and a sufficient environment, the family would be molding the child's perspective towards a future where his talent may become something much bigger. Families can provide the proper environments through monetary incentives towards shaping that child's future. Now, my second pillar of argument stands on the fact that by allowing the child to develop and to grow with their talents, it would inspire their other children in said working class family to find their talents and to find what they are good at. With the obvious catering towards the child with a present talent, proposition will not deny the fact that this may seem one-sided to only one child. And the other children of the family may feel left out due to the lack of monetary support that the family could have been giving them. Note that I specifically mentioned monetary support that they will be giving them. The inclusion of emotional and motivational support from said family towards the other children could be used to an extent that by observing their brother or their sister evolving and being supported as they find their calling by the parents may call upon the other children to do the same, find their talents and to evolve it further. Now, My third pillar of argument upholds the notion and the assumption that the opposite of the topic is to divide the family's money evenly amongst all the other children. Now, this would pose many exacerbating consequences. We must first remember that this is a family of a middle class stature and that they are not capable of funding to their wants. They have to have a set goal and focus if they are to propel the family into a better position in their respective communities. If the funds were to be divided, let's say evenly amongst all the children for their development and their stimulation of every single children, there is no singular guarantee that any of them, other than the talented child, would purpose or would propose and would bring out any meaningful growth because they haven't found their calling yet. What would the parents be spending on the other children if the other children don't even know what they're passionate on yet? We have to recognize that the other children have talents and skill sets that may grow later on compared to the now talented child. And if a talent is not clear yet, then the family would be throwing away crucial funds that could have been allocated towards the talented child. Now, connecting back to Gundar Hag as a burden of proof, his family would have never rejoiced in their newfound success if Hag's father had never focused and crucialized Hag as the sole main priority to be developed for the family. Proposition's arguments stand to prevail due to the clear stances that we have made throughout our reasonings. Now, to take note that this middle-class family may not have an unlimited source and flow of monetary income, it is important that the end goal is to strive for a better future for the child, and that it is still the obligation of the parents to support that child in his future endeavors. And with those future endeavors, the family must make certain sacrifices being, again, prioritizing the talented child in the present so that they may evolve earlier and they won't miss their window of opportunity to grow, because it isn't every day that a child is given that opportunity to grow and flourish. If the child was not to be prioritized, let's say, and the funds were to be divided and funds were to be dispersed evenly, then the possibility that the talents of that child would have never grown and would have never became a reality. And Gundar Hag, as we know him now, would have never gotten the chance to be the successful distance runner that he would be. The family then would have no means to escape from their current economical and social status if they so wanted to, if they could have just supported and invested more into their child's interests and talents. With that, the proposition side of the topic now closes the debate. Thank you very much.